32nd pick, New England has selected Julian Edelman, wide receiver from Kent State.
That's Edelman diving for the first down.
Still on his feet. He's loose. Julian Edelman. Will they catch him? No.
Edelman's going to throw. Deep downfield, wide open. Edelman.
Brady finds Edelman.
Touchdown. Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
Edelman comes down with a football. They're saying it's a catch. That's incredible.
He's in. Patriots win the Super Bowl. Yeah, to the end zone. And they're bound for Super Bowl 53. Marcus worst nightmares back.
Here's the pass. And Edelman slips through a tackle.
There it is.
The dynasty continues.
Nothing in my career has ever come easy. And no surprise, this isn't going to be easy either. Now, I've always said, I'm going to go until the wheels come off. And they finally have fallen off. Due to an injury last year, I'll be making my official announcement of my retirement from football. It was a hard decision, but the right decision for me and my family. And I'm honored and so proud to be retiring a Patriot. There are a million people I have to thank. Mr. Kraft, the Kraft family. Learned so much from you guys on and off the field. Coach Belichick, giving me an opportunity. I always love you for that. My teammates have gone to war. We've lost some, we've won some. You guys will always be my brothers. To all my coaches that I played under, I appreciate all your insight, all your hard work, all your knowledge. To the entire Patriots organization, from the meal ladies, to the people that clean up after us, to the people in the hallways, the training staff, the strength staff. We share so many awesome memories that I'll never forget. And of course, my family. You guys have always had my back. It's been the best 12 years of my life. It's a hell of a run. And I can't forget you, Patriot Nation. You guys have welcomed me and my family to a region we do not know. We didn't know. But now, I'm one of you. I'm going to leave you guys with 2 words. Foxborough, forever.
So this was Julian Edelman's retirement announcement that he posted all over social media. And if you're a Patriots fan and you didn't choke up when you heard that or saw it, then how invested were you into this team, into that player over the course of his career? And I know on Monday's episode, I talked about how, it is expected of Julian Edelman to retire, and he, didn't make that announcement when I posted or uploaded, I should say, episode 40 of Murph's Boston Sports Talk, but soon after, like a couple hours or so after that came out, and I just want to kind of react about it. But first, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Hump Day's edition of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. Today is Wednesday, and hopefully you're having a good week thus far. And I have so much to talk about, but this Julian Edelman thing is really, really getting to me because it just seems like it was just so short ago that it was Brady, Gronk, Jules, Hogan, Amendola, LeGarrette Blount. Now they're all gone. I mean, you can say what you want about LeGarrette Blount. I just think he's hilarious. He's a walking meme. But like with the Patriots in the middle of a roster turnover from just 2 years ago, then you look at the roster last year, and now you look at the roster going into this year, a lot of players weren't on the Patriots last year or 2 years ago. So it's hard for people to kind of buy into the Patriots because they don't really know who those players are. Like, their favorite player is probably gone from, a couple years ago, and I am victim to that. Kim, the podcast and the YouTube channel favorite, is a victim to that, and a lot of Patriots fans are a victim to that. And there's just nothing we can do about it, pretty much, since we're just fans. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to sit here bitch and complain that I wish Julian Edelman was playing this season, because I do, but his choice, his path in life is his decision. And if he is going to retire, which he is, then you know what? All you have to do is just, commend him and congratulate him on a wonderful, beautiful career, a very successful career. And you just have to be thankful for that. You were able to watch and witness what he was able to do over the course of his career. I certainly am. And when Brady left, I was thankful and appreciative that I was able to witness the greatest quarterback, arguably the greatest athlete of all time in sports. And then once he officially retires, Brady, when that time comes, those emotions will just kind of kick back in again because he is done with the game. So I still get to enjoy Brady because he's still playing, although for a different team. But with Julian Edelman, he's just done. He's not going to another team. He's not going to play anywhere else. He was a Patriot, and that's it. So, absolutely incredible career. And I kind of want to highlight some career plays that Julian Edelman had, I should say, by giving you my top 5 Julian Edelman moments throughout his whole career. Now, a lot of these are predictable, but I mean, they were massive events that happened. And maybe number 5, not so much, but it's just something that sticks out to me. So let's start off with number 5. Number 5, punt return touchdown for his 4th career touchdown return against the Broncos on Sunday Night Football back in 2014. Some of you may remember that game, some of you may not, but it was a crazy game. Patriots had a phenomenal outing against Peyton Manning and those Denver Broncos. What really stands out to me is because I was at a bar before a concert, and there was a bunch of Patriots fans at that bar to watch the game. But, I was just there trying to get some food before the show, and quite frankly, I forgot that the Patriots were on. I just had so much going on that day, and unfortunately, the Patriots were on Sunday night, so I was able to kind of watch the game at the bar. And little do I know, Denver punts the ball, Julian Edelman fields it, and he returns it all the way for a touchdown, for his 4th career touchdown, which was a record at that time for Julian Edelman and the Patriots. But it's just something that really sticks out in my mind because just the emotions of the bar, people at the bar seeing the game and that return, how that was such a momentum shifter against such a high-powered Broncos offense and defense at that time. So just something that's really always going to stand out to me, and something I always look back on because, in 2014, that was a massive shift in terms of the dynasty, right? Because the Patriots hadn't won anything or for 10 years at that point. So in 2014, when they would eventually win against the Seahawks, I feel like this play by Edelman, or this punt return by Edelman, is kind of one of those that really stands out and you remember. Number 4, Julian Edelman's performance in Super Bowl 53, where he won MVP honors. Now, it's not a specific moment, it's the game in general. I mean, that game was a really, it was a slow-paced game. It was a very defensive-heavy, defensive-orientated game. But at the end of the day, the Patriots had to execute on offense to a degree, whether it was Sony Michel's touchdown run or the 2 field goals that Stephen Gostkowski had to put the game out of reach against the Rams. Edelman had 10 receptions for 141 receiving yards. I look back at Super Bowl 51 and Super Bowl 49, where both James White and Shane Vereen had 13 or so catches. Vereen in Super Bowl 49 and White in Super Bowl 13, where if Brady just didn't go off throwing for 350, 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in both of those games, then those 2 guys probably would have won MVP those years. But, at the end of the day, it is a quarterback's league, and quarterbacks usually kind of walk away with those high honors. And Brady didn't really have that great of a game, but he was able to connect with Edelman a bunch of times, and Edelman was a huge factor for the Patriots in that Super Bowl. And if it wasn't for him, I mean, could the game have been different? I mean, would have Brady found a different target? Would he have utilized somebody else? Would we have even won? So I really think that whole performance where he won Super Bowl MVP was very deserving for Julian Edelman. and something that really will stick out to me and Patriots fans that will never forget. But number 3, it has to be his go-ahead touchdown in Super Bowl 49 versus the Seahawks. Yes, if anybody remembers this play, it was when the Patriots finally took the lead against the Seahawks in the fourth quarter after being down 10, basically throughout the whole fourth quarter. If anyone doesn't remember, it was at the goal line where Julian Edelman kind of cuts in. He was on the left side of the field. He cuts in, but fakes that route and cuts out. So it's a zig route, and Brady just hits him at the goal line. He catches it, and he just kind of walks right in for a touchdown. Fun fact is that they tried to run that play earlier in the game. I'm not too sure how early. Maybe the third or second quarter. I don't remember. And Brady, I don't want to say overthrew him, but it wasn't a good throw. It wasn't really catchable because the defense was, on Julian Edelman. I don't remember the cornerback that was on him, but, good defense, not the best throw. Was it catchable? Probably not. But, when you look back at the DVD where they kind of break things down with, commentary from mic'd up players, Edelman goes up to Brady and is like, let's run that play again. It's going to work. Something on the lines of that. And that's just such confidence and just optimism and high energy at the highest stage in basically all of sports for a play to fail, but let's go back to it. It's going to work. And at the end of the day, that touchdown was the difference for the Patriots in Super Bowl 49 against the Seahawks, where they would end up winning 28-24 with the Malcolm Butler interception at the opposite goal line against Russell Wilson. So number 3, that go-ahead touchdown in Super Bowl 49 versus the Seahawks. And number two, if anybody is anybody, they have to remember this. The double pass from Brady to Edelman to Amendola versus the Ravens in the 2014 divisional round. Yeah, so same year as number 3 and number 5. But, Patriots were down 14, 2 touchdowns, twice in that game, in that divisional round against the Ravens in Foxborough. And, the Patriots had to pull a couple tricks out of their bag. And they certainly did. Brady takes a snap, throws it back to Edelman. You think it's a screenplay, so the defense kind of, approaches to go make the tackle. But nope, that old quarterback in Edelman just flicks his wrist down the field to an open Amendola for a 50 or so yard touchdown. Absolute momentum shifter. A beautiful design play. And that was something that really energized and lifted the Patriots up to perform to eventually win the game against the Ravens. So number 2 is the double pass against those Ravens in the 2014 divisional round from Brady to Jules to Amendola. And if you haven't guessed number 1 yet, then you got to go watch some highlights or just watch the game over again. But the Super Bowl 51 catch versus the Falcons. How much do I need to talk about this? Patriots down 28-3. Oh, they have no chance. Next thing you know, it's 28-9. It just kept going and going and going. And it's like, hold on. Patriots have a shot here to win this game. And without everything going right in that game after they scored their first touchdown late in the third quarter, they're probably not winning the game. And on the other end of things, the Falcons did just about everything wrong. They couldn't protect the ball. They couldn't play any defense. They couldn't stop the Patriots. But with all that in consideration, it has to be that catch, though, that really stands out. Now, you can argue that the Dante Hightower strip sack fumble, where the Patriots recover it, you could argue that play is probably the biggest play of the game. Sure. But honestly, without that catch, Brady turns the ball over because that easily could have been an interception. Or maybe the ball's just simply dropped, and then they have to kind of go back at it again and make another play happen. But with the Hightower strip sack fumble, Matt Ryan, maybe gets it away, throws it incomplete, stop clock, okay. Or he just sacks him, clock keeps running, and they're out of field goal range. So it's just so much that could have went wrong or right depending on how you look at things. But if Edelman doesn't catch that ball, say it's intercepted or incomplete or whatever, do the Patriots march down that field to get that last touchdown? I don't know. And for those who may not remember, Brady tries to throw the ball over the middle of the field like 20 or so yards, 20, 25 yards downfield, I believe. And I don't know which Falcons defensive back, but he kind of jumps up, and the ball's a little too high for him, so he like tips it up in the air after failing to intercept it. Ball goes up, Julian Edelman dives for the ball, and there's 2 additional Falcons defensive backs that go in to try to either pick it off themselves or just make sure that that ball hits the ground. Edelman gets his hands under it but doesn't get a clean grip, kind of bounces out of his hands, and then he goes and grabs it again to secure the catch. A huge, huge play in the game. The game kind of stops. They have to review it and make sure it's a clean catch. Falcons are saying, no, it dropped. But when you look at it on the big board and on replay, that ball was nowhere. It was close to the ground, don't get me wrong. But when you slow it down, it was a catch all the way. And to me, and to a lot of Patriots fans, that is my number 1 moment or memory for Julian Edelman throughout his whole career. And without any of those memorable moments that I just mentioned, do the Patriots even, have the success that they did? The Patriots probably would have still won that game if he didn't return the touchdown, that punt return touchdown against the Broncos, which was my number 5 point. But, if he didn't, get 10 receptions and 141 yards, did they win against the Rams in Super Bowl 53? If he doesn't catch that zig route touchdown, do they win Super Bowl 49? That double pass, do they even beat the Ravens? And if he doesn't catch the ball, do they beat the Falcons? So a lot of these points kind of brings me to my next topic about Julian Edelman, and is he a Hall of Famer or not? Now, last episode, I said that he could. I don't think he will, but he could. And I think those 5 moments that I had for Edelman, those top 5 moments that I have for Edelman, are good reasons and arguments why. 4 career return touchdowns, so it shows the special teams versatility. He won a Super Bowl MVP, scored a go-ahead touchdown, made a huge play against the Ravens, and obviously Super Bowl 51 catch, along with being the second, has the second highest receptions in the playoffs behind Jerry Rice, which I mentioned last episode. And along with his regular season statistic, which, yes, may not all be too great, but they're still really good and something you need to, take into consideration. Now, a lot of people are comparing him to Hines Ward and Donald Driver, who both aren't in the Hall of Fame, though they both had great careers themselves, but neither of them had the success that Julian Edelman did. And I'm talking about postseason success here. Hines Ward didn't have the kind of playoff success that Julian Edelman did, but he is 4th on the playoff reception list. So that's there for him. And I understand the argument of why he's not a Hall of Famer, and I'm not going to argue against it, because it's a good argument, it's a good case that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But to completely say that, he has no case, he has none of this, absolutely not, I think is outrageous. I think for the stats that he has, the playoff stats, championships, plus the MVP, being a versatile player in terms of being a wide receiver and a returner, plus if you want to throw in a little defense for memes, sure, plus the amazing plays and catches that he made throughout his whole career, whether it was in the regular season or the postseason, but specifically the postseason, I think it warrants a good discussion. Okay? It absolutely warrants a discussion, whether it's a good long one or a quick short one. There's a discussion to be had, and in 5 years, I think it will be looked at again. Like I said, do I think he'll make it into the Hall of Fame? No. Could he? Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. But definitely comment down below on YouTube if you're watching there, or reach out to me on Twitter, on Instagram if you're listening on audio-only platforms. Tell me, what are your top 5 memories or moments of Julian Edelman throughout his career, and do you think that he is a Hall of Famer? Yes or no? I want to hear it. I want to see what other people are thinking about. But with all that being said, what a wonderful career Julian Edelman has had. He is definitely going to be missed, and the Patriots are going to have to potentially alter their draft plan with Julian Edelman now retired. Now, do they go after a wide receiver in the first round, move up to get one? Who knows? We will have to wait and see. Transitioning from Patriots, football, Julian Edelman. Let's talk about the Boston Bruins. Oh my, okay, so granted it's against the Buffalo Sabres, so they're supposed to win. Not in overtime or in shootout, but just in general. But whatever. They won 3-2 against the Buffalo Sabres in shootout. It was huge points to get against a trash bag team, because if they didn't get 2 points, then oh my god, it would be abysmal if they didn't walk away with 2 points. Now, the 1 point going to the Sabres does not matter, because the Sabres are not even remotely in the playoff hunt at all. So does it really matter? Absolutely not. But for the Bruins, these 2 points are massive. Let me just dive into it a little bit more. Jeremy Swayman gets the start in net again, where he saves 21 saves on 23 shots. He looked really good in overtime and in shootout. I think I love this kid. Like, I'm serious. Like, he is the guy that the Bruins need to have in net moving forward. I don't care about Halak when he comes back. I don't care about Tuukka when he comes back. I want Swayman in net. It's just plain and simple. This dude just made spectacular saves, and he looks so much more confident and, poised. He's a wild goalie sometimes, where he kind of shifts around very, freely, but he's, kind of, tuned it into like a really stellar form of what a goaltender should be, in terms of being like locked down, moving from pipe to pipe very cleanly, and being able to bounce back up if you're laying on the ground, on the ice or whatever. I think he's really improved from his debut to now. And in shootout, he made 2 fantastic saves. It's just, everything is going right for this kid right now. Everything's going right for the Bruins, as of now, at least in terms of goaltending. I mean, Dan Vladar is still, tough conversation to have, but we're definitely going to see Dan Vladar in the near future, but I'll get into that in a few moments. Let me talk about the game from the Bruins. So we saw goals from both David Krejci and Craig Smith, where Smith actually assisted on Krejci's goal. Smith's last 12 games, he has 4 goals and 9 assists for a total of 13 points. That's over a point per game average. And for someone like Smith, he's kind of come out of nowhere, and it's been a really nice surprise to get production for someone like him, where we didn't really expect to see production from, a player 10 years in the league, coming over from the Nashville Predators, brand new team, system, all that good stuff. But he's producing well, and he's playing in your tops. He's playing in with your top 6 forwards. I mean, we saw him on the first line with Marchand and Bergeron last night, and we've seen that in the past. But we never expected to see this kind of production from him, nor did we actually see it earlier in the season. So Craig Smith's last 12 games has been huge for the Bruins, and he's really deserved a spot on the top 6, in the top 6 forwards on those first 2 lines, whether it's on the first or the second line. But it is definitely it's a great treat to have. So you don't always have to rely on Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak, Krejci, whoever. You have someone else that you can go to. Now you have Taylor Hall as well. So the Bruins' top 6 forwards, those 2 lines, looking really, really good. But like I said, this game was against the Buffalo Sabres. It was a should-have won kind of game. But like I said, they won it. They got the 2 points. The 1 extra point, the pity point, doesn't matter for the Buffalo Sabres because they are long out of it. But it's just good to see the Bruins really hone in, buckle down, and take care of business. But speaking of business, let's talk about the next 3 games coming up for the Bruins. 3 massive games coming up for the Bruins, where you have a back-to-back with the New York Islanders starting tomorrow, Thursday, and then on Friday, both home. Don't worry about that. They're both home, but they're against the Islanders, and that's going to be tough. Those are 4 massive points right there. But then on Sunday, you get to welcome back in the Washington Capitals. This is a monumental set of games for the Bruins in terms of any hopes of moving up in the standings. Any hope, because right now, as we look at the standings, they're still 10 points behind the Capitals. They're 8 points behind the Islanders and only 6 points behind the Penguins. These are points that they need to get, and they cannot give pity points to the opposition here. They can't. So I'm going to go over 3 things that I'm looking forward to with these 3 games that the Bruins have coming up. Number 1 is I'm looking for the offense to take the next step with Hall on that second line as he gets settled in and playing meaningful hockey games. So before, he's always been on trash bag teams, the Sabres, why can't I think of it? The Arizona Coyotes being in the playoffs last year in that weird expanded thing. Does it count? Maybe, maybe not. But them, and then when he was with the Devils for a little bit. So he's never really played meaningful hockey games. So let's see how he can perform when he actually has to play serious, intense, win or die hockey games against elite talent, such as the Islanders and the Capitals this year. Number 2, can the Bruins defense rise to the occasion and play 3 stellar games of defense, stopping 2 high-powered teams such as those Islanders and Capitals? The defense has, been very inconsistent in terms of shutting down the opposition or just being an absolute floodgate. Hopefully, with Mike Riley now on your top 4 pairing of defense, hopefully that can kind of help as games kind of go on, the days go on. Hopefully you can get healthier. But, having that back-to-back against the Islanders and then the Capitals coming into town on Sunday, it's going to be very, very intriguing to see how well the defense plays in all 3 games. Will they rise up to the occasion or will they crumble? We're just going to have to wait and see. And then the third point, can Swayman stay hot? Jeremy Swayman is probably going to start 2 out of the 3 games on the Thursday or the Friday game, and then probably back again on Sunday, where Dan Vladar is going to have to start one of the games that Swayman doesn't start on the back-to-back against the Islanders on Thursday or Friday. So whichever game Swayman starts, expect to see Vladar in the other game. And what I want to see is, can Vladar bounce back from his 8-goal game against the Caps? Because he's going to have to play in one of them. Unless Tuukka or Halak can magically, get healthy again and start one of those games on Thursday or Friday, we're going to have to see Vladar, because Swayman's not going to play back-to-back and then come back and play again on Sunday. You're just going to tear him and just beat him into the ground, where he's going to be so fatigued and exhausted come the playoffs, which we kind of saw Halak, because Halak was playing night in, night out, every damn day, back-to-backs, whatever, in the playoffs. And, you saw how that kind of affected him and his play style. So, can Swayman stay hot against the Caps and the Islanders? And can Vladar have a bounce-back game when he plays against the Islanders in one of those games? Those are my 3 points. Those are the 3 things I'm looking forward to as the Bruins play this huge, monumental set of games over the weekend. Come Monday's episode of Murph's Boston Sports Talk, I'll kind of go into, what's ahead after that. After I'll break down Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday's game against the Islanders and Capitals. My goodness. This is the time for the Bruins to really, kind of take that next step as they make that push for maybe that 3rd seed, and if they're lucky enough, maybe one of the top 2 seeds. But at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. So I kind of talked about how the Bruins, starting to get hot a little bit. Jeremy Swayman's certainly hot. Can they stay hot? But let's talk about a team that's absolutely blazing hot, and that is your Boston Red Sox. I cannot believe I can finally say the Red Sox are good again, and hopefully they're here to stay good. And holy crap, were they disrespected. They completely were disrespected. And here's why. MLB, Major League Baseball, released power rankings on Monday. And I was going to talk about this on Monday, But, we were talking about so much stuff, I kind of forgot about it. So I'm going to address it now. So in those power rankings, all 30 teams are listed from who's the best and the hottest, and then who's the worst and the suckiest, right? Now, at the end of the day on Monday, I don't know when the list came out, but Monday it came out. Let me just go bring up the Red Sox real quick. Schedule. Let's see, Monday. Yesterday was Tuesday. Okay, so they didn't play on Monday. They just came off of their sweep against the Orioles where they won 6 in a row at that time. Okay? So they didn't play on Monday. And MLB releases their power rankings where they have the Sox 20th, 2-0, in the bottom third of the league. The bottom third of the league, 20th. That's disgusting. That's absolutely horrendous and disrespectful. Now, granted, they did lose 3 in a row to open the season against the Orioles. Okay. Then they come back and sweep the Tampa Bay Rays. And they go to Baltimore to sweep the Baltimore Orioles. Now, call it what you want. The Orioles suck. The Tampa Bay Rays aren't all that good. Right? But a lot of people think that they still have what it takes to be a playoff... Oops, sorry, I just hit my mic. A playoff team. I think they have what it takes to be a playoff team. But the Rays got swept by the Red Sox. And MLB has the Tampa Bay Rays 9th. 9th on their list. After getting cleanly swept. 11-2, 6-5, 9-2. They gave up so many runs that weekend, and they didn't really score that many runs. Well, not weekend, early in the week. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh, it's just unbelievable. I'm about to go over a couple of teams who are in front of the Red Sox, and I'm going to say their records at the time as of the end of the day on Tuesday. Okay, so I know the list came out on Monday, but I can only go look at the records as of the end of Tuesday. So the Sox are behind the Oakland Athletics, who were 5-7 at the end of Tuesday. The Boston Red Sox were behind the Chicago Cubs, who were 4-6 at the end of Tuesday. The Toronto Blue Jays, 4-6 at the end of Tuesday. And then, like I said, the Tampa Bay Rays, who are 9th on the list, who were, they're 5-6 right now. I don't know what they were on Tuesday. I didn't jot it down. So let me go over all 30 teams in the power rankings, okay? Number 1, Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 2, San Diego Padres. Number 3, New York Yankees. Number 4, Minnesota Twins. Number 5, Houston Astros. Number 6, Atlanta Braves. 7, White Sox. 8, Cincinnati Reds. 9, Tampa Bay Rays. Number 10, the New York Mets. 11, the LA Angels. 12, the Toronto Blue Jays. 13, the St. Louis Cardinals. 14, Milwaukee Brew Crew. 15, the Philadelphia Phillies. 16, Washington Nationals. 17, the Oakland Athletics. 18, Chicago Cubs. 19, Cleveland Indians. And then 20th, your Boston Red Sox. And then the trash bag of the league, 21, the Kansas City Royals. 22, San Francisco Giants. 23, Marlins. 24, Mariners. 25, Tigers. 26, Orioles. 27, Diamondbacks. 28, Rangers. 29, Rockies. And 30th, Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't get it. You're putting the Boston Red Sox in the class or in the group with the worst teams in the league. Now, I guess you could say that they're in the middle class because it'd be 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 to 30. But to put the Indians, the Cubs, the A's, all these teams in front of them, the Blue Jays and the Rays, who at the time of this power ranking being released were in front of them in the standings and still currently are. I mean, the end of Tuesday, The Orioles 5-6, Yankees 5-6, Blue Jays 5-6, Rays 5-6. All 2.5 games back from your Boston Red Sox at the end of Tuesday. Now today's Wednesday, and everyone else is going to be playing. Quite frankly, actually, the Red Sox are up 3-0 on the Minnesota Twins, who are 4th on the power rankings. And oh wait, the Red Sox beat the Twins yesterday. Huh. Now I know this list came out on Monday. Don't let me get it twisted. But this list is absolutely disrespectful. It completely is. And I know they played 6 games against the Orioles, who are 26th. I know. But they cleanly swept the Rays, who are 9th on this list. And they won every game that they won, except like one, convincingly. Let me go back to 11-2 against the Rays, 6-5, close game against the Rays, 9-2, 7-3 against the Orioles in Baltimore, 6-4, then 14-9. I know the Red Sox pitching isn't all that great. I understand that. The Red Sox bats are really alive right now. And I understand that everything needs to be taken into consideration. And when the Red Sox are giving up 5 runs, 4 runs, 9 runs, earlier in the season, 11 runs, I get it. I just had to get all that off my chest because, honestly, I don't expect the Red Sox to be in the top 5. But, give me 10, 11, 12. Give me that. Seriously. Now, when this next list of power rankings come out, if the Red Sox keep playing the way that they do, with maybe a little bit of regression, I could see them, and they better be in the top 5. They should be, because right now, right this second, they have the highest winning percentage in the American League at 700. And in the National League, you got the Dodgers and the Padres, both better than them. But, that's understandable because we expected those teams to perform the way that they are. So, I can't wait for the next power rankings to come out because this one was terrible and it was disgusting. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the power rankings are. It matters what the scoreboard says, and the scoreboard is favoring the Red Sox. It seems like night in and night out. So, let's go Sox. Speaking of a team that is trying to get their scoreboard in favor of them is the Boston Celtics. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the Boston Celtics because I didn't watch the game last night. I did catch some highlights because, 10 o'clock games, they're so hard to stay up and watch because I'm in bed by 10:30. I'm crashed. So, let me just go over a few points real quick. And Celtics last night beat the Portland Trailblazers in Portland 116-115 last night. Absolutely great win against a great team. Overall, it was a team effort to really pull that game out. And like I said, I watched the highlights. It was just a really good team win. I don't think any one player outshined one another that you wouldn't expect them to. You didn't see a lot of selfishness from the Celtics last night. And at the end of the day, they got the win. And it was a close game against a really good Trailblazers team that I wouldn't say you had to have won, but I did say that the Celtics do need to win 2 out of 3 of these West Coast games. They have now won 2 of them, so they have met my expectations, and they are currently on a 4-game winning streak. But like I said, 2 out of 3 games on that West Coast trip, they have a chance to sweep it. They have a chance to sweep that 3-game West Coast trip to give them a lot of momentum as they come back home and have a good homestand coming up. But they have the ultimate test in front of them, and that is against the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, say what you want about the Lakers this season, LeBron or no LeBron. The Lakers are 5th in the West. Yes, they may be 7 games out, but they are a team to take seriously. They have a lot of firepower on that team, like I said, with or without LeBron. And you need to stand strong against them. Show us you can dance with the Lakers. Now, even if they win and LeBron doesn't play, people are going to be like, oh, they beat the Lakers without LeBron. They can't beat them with LeBron. Okay, maybe, true. But this win, if they win tomorrow, would be much more meaningful than just beating the Lakers without LeBron. It would show us, 5-game winning streak. 3 games, 3 wins on the West Coast. A lot of momentum coming back home for a team that has really struggled to find consistency. We need the Celtics to start having that consistency, and if they can win tomorrow in Los Angeles, that would show us that consistency. Their offense is starting to look good. Defense is starting to look better. But at the end of the day, I ask you this question. Do we take the Celtics seriously? They are currently in the 5th seed, and they're still 1 game back from the 4th seed where the Atlanta Hawks have been for some time. Say what you want about the Hawks, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. It's only a 1-game difference, but still. Do we take the Celtics seriously? Let me know. Tweet at me, DM me, whatever. Drop your opinion down in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Do we take the Boston Celtics seriously? Currently on a 4-game winning streak. They have the chance to go on a 5-game winning streak if they can beat the Lakers tomorrow. If they do or they don't, could we still take them seriously? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions about this because me personally, I'm starting to. I am. It's been a long season of up and downs. But we could potentially start taking the Celtics seriously if they can keep this going. With all that being said, they could easily, like that, go back to being an inconsistent trash bag team where they're down at the 7th, the 8th seed. The Eastern Conference is so tight. The Hawks, the Celtics, the Heat, the Hornets, and the Knicks are all separated by 2 games. All separated by 2 games. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All separated by 2 games. So they could go on a small little losing streak and be right at the bottom of the playoff picture. So these 4 games, potentially, hopefully, 5-game winning streak is going to mean so much. And the 4-game winning streak so far has meant so much for the Boston Celtics because they need this. They need this. Speaking of needs, I need MLB The Show 21 to come out like now. I can't wait for that game to come out, and quickly just going to transition to MLB The Show. I haven't really been making a lot of content with the game MLB The Show 20 because 21 is coming out and it's on the horizon. I really haven't made a lot of videos on YouTube over on my YouTube channel because the new game is coming and I really want to double down and make a lot of content there. I've been waiting a long time for this game to come out, especially with it being delayed until April, where it was supposed to come out back in early March, I believe. So I'm just really anxious waiting for the new game to come out, and I can't wait for it to come out. Definitely go subscribe and ring the bell for notification over on my YouTube channel because there's going to be a lot of YouTube exclusive content releasing over there with MLB The Show, vlogs, dumb fun things that Kim and I do, which I know you guys love her. So head over there to stay up to date and stay recent with everything that I'm going to be dropping over there. I cannot wait for MLB The Show to come out. I'm super excited for it. It needs to be here now. So please excuse the lack of Home Run Derby content recently. And speaking of something recent, I did move my studio like yesterday. Speaking of recent, I moved it upstairs. So we have the first floor, second floor, and a basement in our place. And I moved my studio upstairs into the office. I guess Kim and I turned one of the bedrooms in our house to an office. So now her and I share a workspace. And as I'm recording this right now, she is not there. She's at school right now. So hopefully, and it will work between me recording my podcast, editing YouTube videos and such, and her doing her own thing with school and such. But I'm very happy to be upstairs. I have a window to look out at. I have my cat to look at as she currently cleans herself. But I'm not in the dark abyss of my basement where I get to not look out a window and I have to rely on electricity for light, where up here I don't have to. I loved my studio downstairs. It was nice, peaceful, quiet, but it was cold and dark, and I felt like I was wasting, time downstairs because I wouldn't be able to get to enjoy the beautiful weather that we are now having here in spring. So if you heard any audio difference or, heard a couple things in the background, whether it was the bird or, dog barking across the street or my mother coming out of the house all obnoxious, I do apologize for that. But at the end of the day, I think the studio being upstairs in the office is going to be for the better. The content is going to come out much better, and there'll be more of it, to say the least. So thank you so much. So much. Oh, wait, I forgot. I mentioned this earlier, and I wrote it down to make sure I don't forget about it. I know. I was going to talk about the draft today, and I briefly alluded to it when I was talking about Edelman retiring. Patriots might have to look at a wide receiver now in the first round. I will go over the draft for the Patriots on Friday. I'm going to write it down, and I'm not going to talk about anything else until I talk about every point that I need to make in terms of the draft and the Patriots in said draft. I promise. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, but Friday will be there. So stay tuned for that. If you need a draft fixing, I will give it to you. I promise. But thank you so much for joining me on Hump Day for Wednesday's edition of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. This was episode 41 and the first episode in my brand new studio up in the office. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for downloading, listening, and enjoying. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. But until then, I love you. See ya.